Hi, this is another flipped learning in an EFL class. We're here to show how to conduct some group-based activities online. After the SHAC time that stands for sharing, helping, asking, and commenting, we've moved to feedback which involves gift chat, visual intelligence, quote-com, vocabulary, and comprehension. Today, we're going to help the students get more engaged in critical thinking activities. And our focus will be more on how a student can moderate an online conference. Enjoy. Floor is yours.
So when we speak about a cultural legacy, we are speaking about something that has lasted for years and years, and it shapes who we are. Although nowadays it has started to gradually vanish and slowly die. And that is because of many factors such as weather. Because it is our culture, it is our duty to preserve it and keep it alive. So what do you guys think about the given tips? And apart from those, what are some methods or tips that you can suggest in order to save our cultural legacy from going extinct? The floor is yours.
The first solution that's among the solutions that the teacher gave us, it's about creating volunteer groups, and I don't really agree with that idea because sometimes these volunteer groups can take a very wrong turn quickly, especially when some of these sites can be very old and they can collapse at any time. And I also think that it's very risky for inexperienced people to go to such places and to mess with this type of historical buildings. They can get hurt or they can damage the building.
Now we go back to Darfawi, who seems to have something else to say.
Yes, so as you know, we're in the 21st century, we're in a world of globalization, and we have different cultures and different perspectives and different ideas. Kids, when they're studying, we need to involve culture in the curriculum. So studying maths, physics, and other subjects, we need to have something about heritage and about culture, teaching youth how much it's very important to know those things and how to preserve it. And then when their kids are going to grow up, they're going to teach their kids, and the list goes on. So the generations are going to be so attached to their culture, and they're going to try to maintain and the good aspects of culture in a globalized world and prove their importance to the world. So they're going to be also open to the cultures, other cultures in the world. And thank you.
Well, actually, I agree with what you said, guys. And I think for me, the first option to consider is an education campaign in schools. In fact, like one of the education's purposes is actually to transmit culture roots from generation to generation. But still, like an education campaign to preserve culture heritage, I think that it should go further. For example, like schools could set like a week in its calendar of events to promote culture activities, such as visiting museums, practicing like regional dances, and also like listening like to all of the old stories and tales, and the list goes on. A second approach, I think that it could be like increasing funding for museums. I think that this approach is not like always seen as a priority because like people always like claim that governments should spend money in more important things. But I definitely think that we cannot just get rid of museums. Like museums facilitate like all of the individual development through education, promote happiness and well-being. I think that they are entertaining, and definitely museums could be a source for economic growth through tourism.
All right, thank you for your opinion, Bara. Now we move to...
Well, I'm going back to Novel's idea. Well, Novel, I think that your idea was really good. I mean, you used critical thinking, but unfortunately, I disagree with you in terms of the 3D printer, because I don't think it's enough to know the monument or the building. Maybe knowing how many walls or how many rooms we have in there. But I don't think it's enough to know what the building stories or to understand what happened there years ago. Do you think that people are visiting monuments just to rate their beauty or maybe taking pictures for their profile? They visit them because they want to go deeper in analyzing and understanding. They want to know the architecture story. They want to know what happened in every single room in that building. Because if you want to really attract people, give them the real pictures and let them live what happened in that place and feel it truly.
Thank you, Smaha. I like your idea, and I definitely agree with it. Now let's go on to Hiba Bularba.
Yeah, so as we all know that our cultural heritage is what distinguishes us as citizens. After all, the history is important because it connects us to specific times, places, or even events. Not forgetting the question of how can we preserve it. Simply, it's by sharing it with others to tell the people about our culture with confidence without feeling embarrassed of it or even ashamed. And lastly, we should keep our history alive, no matter how old it is or boring as some people think. It's still our cultural heritage. It still shapes who we really are. And another idea is instead of forcing others to follow blindly our culture, let them question our culture, and then we're gonna debate with them.
We all know how social media, how a video on social media can badly go viral. So why don't we use this to spread our culture and like as Hamid said, like filming, like having documentaries or maybe just pictures, videos about our culture, food, buildings, whatever, and post it on YouTube. And it's as we can all know, you may all know, when the tourists want to visit a country, they check on like the most interesting cities where they want to go. So that way they're gonna have an idea about our country before even going to it.
That before we should think how can we respect, because vast majority of people when they speak about cultural heritage and cultural legacy, we don't give them a value, just say it and move on. No, personally I think that firstly we should know their value and we should respect it, and after we should talk about it, because like firstly we should as an idea we should integrate it in school educational system. We should have a subject just speaking about this and just giving us like the values of this treasure. And secondly, we should also integrate it in the education that we have from our parents. I mean, like our parents are educating us. They never told us like there is a treasure in our country. There is something that we should respect. It. There is like something that is from our responsibility to take it. And we should take the initiative to build it, to preserve it. The parents don't speak about this. They ignore it. They don't give it a value. So I think the parents should insist a little bit on this.
Often has something else to say. He's been chatting a lot in the conversation room, so I believe he has a lot to say. Go on, Nofan.
Exactly. So just want to add a point related to technology. Another idea, just I think a new idea, is what about historical events? We try to create simulations of historical events. We know that a lot of students are getting bored in history classes in high school. A lot of people don't like to read. So even if we have cultural libraries, students don't want to read books about history. It's boring. Then after, I think if we try to create simulations, I mean like 5D films or using virtual reality, we can create virtual historical events. So like the students, youth can know like how the events happened in a virtual reality, which means it will be more real. Another point that I want to discuss is a lot of people are telling me that visiting monuments is better than just seeing it like seeing it virtually. I think I do agree with you guys, but I was thinking about avoiding to damage the buildings, avoiding to damage the monuments. So we try to push people to visit the monument, to visit the museums virtually, just to avoid this problem of damaging the buildings or like the security in general. Thank you.
Excellent idea, Nofal. I like it how you're trying to adapt people to finding out about our culture using the internet and using technology, which is a very good and very easy way to observe our culture. Very good idea. So, who?
Khawla. Can I
Yes,
speak?
sure, go on.
Okay, so as my friends have already mentioned, I think that integrating our cultural heritage in the curriculum is like a good way to preserve it. So I think that, for example, for lessons of history, I think that we should focus more on our culture. Like instead of studying about other cultures, we should more focus on our culture. And also, I think that we should have like some projects in our schools, some projects and some workshops that encourage preserving the cultural heritage. And like one of the examples that came to my mind is like visiting a nursing home. So there, like we can, like for example, when we visit a nursing home, so it has like a lot of advantages. So firstly, we can like break the ice for people, for the elderly people who are living there, and also we can learn from them a lot of things. Like as we know, the old people like have a lot of things to share with us, and they just need someone to speak with. So if we will give them the opportunity to speak and to share what they have, we will learn a lot from them about our culture, because like they are very proud of their identity. So I guess that we have a lot of things to learn from them.
Yes, carry on. I believe my internet connection was bad.
So I think that we should speak our ancestral language. If we know someone who shares our culture but has a different native tongue than ourselves, we ask them to teach us. Because the language shapes our whole perception of the world. Plus, if the language is rare in our area, nobody will able to eavesdrop on our conversation. Personally, here in Berkane, like we know Vietnamese and people, they speak Shulha, but I personally don't know any single word of that language. So why not? Because so many languages are at risk of extinction. Like if we know any one of that, teach it to the others, share examples of the knowledge and perspective that would be lost if it goes away, and record the language spoken and written if possible, and work on translations to less endangered languages.
Unfortunately, we have to end the discussion here. Thank you to everyone who has shared their opinions and point of views about this issue with us.